Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Glow Up Guide. So today is yet another continuation of our time management and productivity episode series. This is going to be the last one of this episode series because time management is such a long expanse of topics to cover. So hence having 3 parts. But yeah, so podcast updates. Okay, so this is what I'm really excited about. Okay, so podcast updates. A couple hours ago, my mom helped me set up an email for this podcast, and then use that email to create an Instagram for this podcast. I am so freaking excited because this is something that's been pending for maybe a week, 2 weeks. I don't really know, like a week and a half. Yeah. So I'm really excited that I got my butt up and asked my mom and did it because I'm just so happy now and honestly really proud of myself because I've gotten so far with this podcast, in my opinion. Because hey, most of these popular podcasters that I listen to are already influencers when they started, and so they tend to have a lot of followers just to begin with. But me, I'm just literally no one. So I started this podcast out of legit nowhere. So the fact that I've gotten it to this point is honestly amazing for me. So it's just something that makes me feel self-accomplished, and it's just amazing, honestly. So yeah, I'm super duper excited that I started up the Instagram and the email. I'm gonna link both of them in the podcast description, obviously, but yeah. So that's fun. Yeah, I'm just super duper excited to have this now, and it's because I started I told you guys this before, but I started the Instagram to grow, to get new listeners into my podcast, and the email is just so people can get in touch with me, because not everyone has Instagram who listens, because I didn't have that Instagram until today. So yeah, that's nice, and I'm just so excited. I have 2 posts up. I have one that's just hey, welcome to my Instagram for this podcast, and add a link to my podcast. So I put the link in the bio, but yeah. Still trying to figure out how to use Instagram, but at least the posts aren't really shitty audio quality. I mean, not audio quality. What am I talking about? Really shitty quality, so that's good. I figured out how to use Canva to get my Instagram posts. Oh, nice. And then the second one, I didn't mean to publish it, but I published it, and it was a publish update. I had this episode out then, but I didn't have it out. So I'm just well, shucks, no one's gonna look at it, because I called my friend called me earlier, and she's like, oh my gosh, what's your podcast thingy? Let me follow it. And then I'm just okay, I gave it to her, because it wasn't working when she searched it up. So helped her out with that. Searched it up. She followed it, and she's the only follower I have right now. So yeah, that's really fun. What a joy. Yeah, that's pretty much it. My mom's being really strict. She's you better not fall down this stupid social media loop, okay? This is strictly for your podcast, no personal use. I'm Jesus, Mom, I don't even want to use it for myself. Because my English topic was how social media impacts the mental health of young people, and I learned so much from that, and I'm just shit, this is what social media does to my brain. I'm just help. And screens in general to my younger brother's brain, because he's always on them. No wonder he's so stupid, honestly, because I learned from my research that too much screen time, and because my brother's 8, right? Too much screen time in the 0 to 5 age range, which also happened, slows down literacy development, and it kind of affects the brain region that's responsible for retaining this information and helping you apply it to actually learn something and learn how to do things when you're younger. These are crucial skills, reading, for example, talking, writing, basic life skills at that point. Yeah, things like that the ability to retain that information to do these tasks is affected, which prolongs the literacy development. And I think prolongs is the word. I don't know, but basically makes it harder. And I kind of went off on a tangent there, but yeah, I'm just really excited for this, and this is a huge milestone for this podcast. So yeah. And another thing is I'm considering actually completely deleting some of my episodes, because I know how I unpublished my first episode and then I have to republish all of them, and now 14 of my episodes say they were published on January 22nd, when I actually started this podcast August 1st last year. So that's fun. but like actually deleting these episodes because I think they're literal crap. Like, for example, my second episode, probably the worst one. And I think my seventh episode, whichever one was like living in the moment, also really sucks because I have a lot more that I can contribute to these episodes as opposed to what they are right now. So I kind of want to like delete them and like completely redo them and have much better content, which is better in quality and also better in quantity because these episodes are not sufficient. Like the second one is 10 minutes long, the stillness one, and then the seventh one is like 15 minutes long. I literally don't even know what I put in there. I'm gonna force myself to like listen to them so that I can actually like figure out what I did wrong and like completely redo them. So I'm thinking of completely deleting and renumbering all my episodes. So that's just something that I'm currently considering. I'm probably gonna do it because these episodes suck. Honestly, they're not bringing anything to this podcast besides me having sorrow for the few people that have to listen to this crap content. And if that's the first episode they listen to, because not all people are going to go and listen to my first episode, which is also kind of shitty, not going to lie. But if someone goes and thinks that's how goes listen to that, and they think that's how all my episodes are, then I'm kind of in trouble. Like that's not going to be good for my podcast and to draw more audience. So I'm thinking of deleting those crap episodes. So just an idea. Yeah, but it's not like they're gonna be gone forever. It's not the topic I don't like. It's the actual episode I don't like. That doesn't make sense, but yeah, I'm gonna like redo them and make them way better. Like yeah, because I developed a new system for writing these scripts. Because before it would just be random stuff that came to mind, and now it's actually structured into like, depending on what it needs. Because a lot of these, like for example, this episode is because for example, I'm writing an episode on reset routines right now. So I put like what a reset routine is, why you should have one, and then my own reset routine, some other additional things you can incorporate. Like it's a full blown episode on like everything. For example, like this series too, these episode series, I really think they were good. I think this episode series was actually really good because of the way I structured them. So it's also the structure and the content that's also really off, and I really want to like completely change that and like redo it. Like I don't like these episodes, so I'm gonna delete them probably, and just like yeah. I think it's gonna help this podcast more than hurt it though. So that's something that I'm considering and probably gonna do. Yeah. So I think that's all in terms of podcast updates right now. So life updates. I'm so happy I made it out alive yesterday because yesterday was my younger brother. He turned 8 on Friday and his party was yesterday. 8th birthday. And like his birthday party was at Chuck E. Cheese. For those of you, I know most of my listeners are from the United States, but for those of you who don't know what it is, it's basically like this kids arcade. Yeah, kids arcade is the best way to describe it, honestly. Yeah. So we had his birthday party there, right? And it's just like super fun. And we invited his whole class because apparently that's what you do for little children. Also, my brother has no friends, like literally no friends. So like he needs to get more friends. Like he needs to socialize more. And even at these parties, he doesn't socialize more. But I guess all the kids kind of stay with their own friends and their parents, I guess. So not a big problem. But well, for me, it's still a problem, like the whole party. But like for the kids, not a problem. So yeah. And I was just like not to brag, but I planned the whole thing kind of, and I'm the one who basically just told my parents what to do with it. So that's fun. Yeah, but it turned out really good, so I'm not mad at myself for that. But yeah, it was at this arcade, and then everyone came late. Like the first person that showed up was at like 12:33. His party started at freaking 12:30. I'm like, people be on time. And one of his friends, like his showed up at like what, almost 1. I'm just like, what the actual flip? So that's fun. Yeah, but people showed up and we just gave them like the cards, like the little play cards so they could play the games. And yeah, it was really good. The cake was also really good food, even though it was really expensive. But we couldn't bring any outside food, so that's probably why they just made it so expensive. And they knew people were gonna buy it anyway. Just like marketing strategy. But what are we supposed to do? Because we're gonna look rude. So it was about this like veggie pizza. It was like $28 freaking dollars. I'm like, for one damn pizza. It's not even. It's like a normal size pizza for freaking that. And he's like, what other choice do we have? We need to, even if no one eats it, we still need to at least like have that option. I mean, the parents ate it. Good news, but yeah, just sad. So I'm grateful we only got one because last year, my dad bought like 2, and he's like, well, they're gonna eat it. It's like his whole class. Less people came that year, and I think in total, some parents ate 2 slices of the pizza, so that didn't exactly work. But yeah, I keep going off in a tangent about pizza. What the frick is wrong with me? Anyway, so it was really good, and I mostly stayed with my younger brother and then his friends. So yeah, he has like 3 friends in his class. I'm like, what the actual flip? You need to get a damn social life. Like, okay, it's going to impact you in the future. Like, it's a problem. Like, his social habits have become freaking like problematic at this point. So yeah. But I don't blame him. I was the exact same way until like 5th grade or something. Yeah, like in 5th grade, and then I'm like full blown extrovert. So yeah, like I don't blame him. But I made it out alive. I dealt with 13 sugar high kids, running around an arcade, all their parents, the whole party, and interpreting everything my dad didn't understand from the party assistant. So there's like this person that helps us with the party, right? Because obviously not the parents and people can't just do it themselves. So, and my dad kept whispering to me when she was out of earshot. He's like, "What the heck did she just say?" And I'm like, "Oh my god!" I handled interpreting for all of that. Yeah, that was really fun. But the one thing that really, really pissed me off was that, so one of my brother's friends, like, I'm not mad at them at all. Well, I kind of am, but like, yeah. So they all came, like both parents plus their the classmate we invited of my brother's and her 2 siblings. I'm like, seriously? And okay, I just thought the siblings were gonna be there because like someone else, he had 2 older brothers, and we were like, oh, they can just share this like one card because it's unlimited. It's not like a certain amount. And she's like, oh, that's so nice of you, but it's okay. They're just staying here. They're gonna stay in the back with me until their dad comes, so because they have to go somewhere else. I'm like, oh, okay. So that worked. That was the only other set of siblings that came. Someone else's baby sister came, but it's okay. So yeah, I mean, it's their baby sister. What are we gonna do? Just like, yeah. But so there was the girl and then her 2 siblings, right? So we gave my younger brother's actual classmate one of the arcade cards to play, because it's expensive. Okay, birthday parties are expensive anywhere, like because inflation and stuff. It's just everything's expensive at this point. So yeah, and we're just like, oh, okay. And then her sister, I'm assuming she's maybe the same age or a little younger. I don't really know. She comes up to me and she holds her hand out like I'm gonna give her a card, and then I pretend that some distraction has been created, and I walk over to my mom. I'm like, what is going on? And she's just like, I don't freaking know. Give her a card. And I'm like, no, because then if someone else comes, we're not gonna have any for them. And she's like, oh my god. And then I'm like, wait, I have the smaller one that the girl gave me, and she's like, oh shoot, yeah, give her that. And I'm like, okay. So I gave her that, but it was only limited. It only had 20 points on it, and it ran out really fast, I guess. So then, by that, like 10 minutes later, we were only waiting on 3 other people, and then my brother's best friend, like his literal best friend, I'm so happy he has her because like he at least gets to socialize and stuff. So yeah, they all showed up, like obviously because all our my parents and his friend's parents, they're all friends, and then her younger brother, obviously he and my brother are friends, so everyone showed up, and I'm like, oh, okay, because they're our friends, right? So we're fine with that. Them all showing up, like it's just kind of expected. So yeah, and then that's a different story. But like this other random girl, I don't even know her name. My brother didn't even know her name until he's like, shoot. And they all show up and they're just like expecting us to like give it to them. I'm like, oh my god, no. Okay, give stuff to them. I'm like, oh my god, what the actual flip. So yeah, my mom told me a while after I left, the girl's card ran out, the tiny one I gave her. So the mom just came up to my parents and was like, can we have another card? And I'm like, seriously? And she's like, well, no, they weren't being mean or anything. My mom told me this today. She's like, no, they weren't being mean or anything. And I'm just like, still, it's so annoying. I'm like, ew. And then the dad came up and asked for another card for the other girl. And I'm like, seriously? And my dad had to pay like $100 total for that whole family. And I'm just like, the actual flip plus extra for the food. I'm just like, oh god. So that was actually so fun. That was so fun. Pure sarcasm. So yeah, they weren't being rude or anything. I guess my mom was like, well, they probably didn't know anything, and I'm like, it's still annoying. And she's just like, you know what, you're right. And I'm like, yay. So yeah, that was really fun. But other than that mishap, everything was good. My mom stayed with because my mom stayed with my parents stayed with like their friends, like parents of my brother's friends. They're all technically friends. So yeah, my mom stayed with them. she never sees them. My mom has like no friends as well, so that's fun. And then I just stayed with my brother and his friends who were running around the arcade, and I'm just trying to. That's what I do. I just stay with them. So yeah, that was really fun. Um, yeah, it was a good time, even though it's supposed to end at 2:30, but we stayed until like 4 or something. Cause yeah, everyone was late, and the cards actually started like 2 hours from the time they were activated. So we ended up staying until 4. That was awesome. I'm being purely sarcastic. I was so freaking tired afterward. All I did was like read my book and like be on the verge of falling asleep from like 5 until like what 7:30. Like I don't even know, but I was just so dang tired, um, physically and mentally. So that was so much fun. Yeah, that's pretty much it for that. What else happened? Oh yeah. So my school, they have this like award. So if you get all A's for the quarter or all A's and one B for that quarter, then you get an award. And I have all A's. Okay, like I'm just like that good. No, I actually study and do things now. I actually care about school more. So yeah. So yeah, I have good grades. Okay, like I have all A's, and I was so damn close to getting the award because after spring break we have 4 days, and then that's the end of the quarter. So yeah, I'm just like okay, cool. So I'm on the right track. And then what happens is I get a freaking C on my history test because I screwed up everything. I had all the right answers for all the wrong things. Like I had the right answers, but they were all just on all the answers were on the wrong thing. If that makes any sense. So I scored a C on that stupid test. And now my history grade's a B in 86. And yeah, so my science test was the other day, and it was on classification. And I was like, crap, I didn't finish because it was a long test. It was 21 questions. We had an hour to do it, and like maybe 8 of them or so were like short answer. And I'm just like, oh my god, what the heck? Like it was a hard test. And my science teacher, he's kind of just like weird with the time that he gives us. Like he's just like the test isn't hard, but he's not like strict grader like my history teacher. So that's good. And I'm just like, crap, okay. So 2 of the questions were left unfinished. I'm like, well, he's still gonna grade up. What other choice do I have? And my friend's like, yeah, whatever, just submit it. And I'm like, shit, okay. So I did that, right? And now I'm gonna score really low on it because obviously I missed off a couple points. I'm probably gonna get like a B plus on that test. And I had an A plus in history, a 98. And so the paragraphs I wrote on GMO use, I got a B minus on that. I don't know how that happened. I literally got everything. I checked it over with the rubric at least 5 times, and I'm so mad that I scored a B minus on that because I literally tried so hard on that. Oh my god, that was one of the hardest assignments ever, and I'm just so freaking mad. And now my science grade is at a 93. So now that I'm gonna score really badly on this test, it's gonna go down to like a B plus. And if I don't get my history grade up, then I don't get the award. And my mom's probably gonna be pretty mad at me because she's gonna be like, "Well, why do you have 2 Bs?" And I'm like, oh my god, why do I have to do this now? So I'm just like hoping that the history, because we had to like write a newspaper article, and I'm really hoping I get a good grade on that and that it goes up to at least a 90. So I'm really, really hoping, like, fingers crossed, because otherwise I'm kind of screwed here. So that's fun. Um, yeah. So I'm just like really, really hoping that I get a good grade on those. And anyway, and now it's spring break. That's the third update I have. It's spring break now. Technically the first day of spring break was like yesterday. So yeah, that was fun. Everyone's like doing something like that as far as I know, and I'm just like stuck in my house, dying of boredom. I have no clue what I'm gonna do for a week. I'm probably gonna have fun for the first 2 days, and then just be like, I'm literally dying of boredom and I'm in pain. Help me. Yeah, I don't know. One of my friends is not going anywhere for spring break, so I might like try and plan something with her throughout the week, anytime throughout this week. I don't know, but maybe. It's a maybe. I don't really know because I'm just gonna be so dang bored. Like I have no clue what I'm gonna do. I know that I have to catch up on like my writing, and my mom's like, during spring break, you're gonna get back on your water intake because I have a problem with drinking water. I just can't do it for some reason. No matter how hard I try, the max I will get to is 40 ounces. I'm supposed to be drinking 56 ounces of water a day, so I'm like severely water deprived, but somehow I survive. And my mom's like, what the frick? She's just like, you need to drink more water for spring break. I'm like, Jesus, fine, I will. I'll try. So I'm like slowly trying to build it up. My goal is 30 ounces for now, which I can probably do pretty easily. But yeah, even then, in my habit tracker, I have 5 days highlighted for this whole month so far that I've actually drank more than 30 ounces of water, which is kind of concerning. But yeah. So those are my goals for spring break, I guess. I don't really know. Oh yeah, in my family and consumer sciences class, facts. It's basically like life skills. It's a mandated course in 7th grade. So we were just doing that, right? And we were gonna be cooking scones, I believe. Yeah, we were gonna be doing scones. And the 8th graders were supposedly using the kitchen for something, so we had to stay in our homeroom, sewing room. And my facts teacher was like, she's like, oh okay. So if you guys have any work, you can do that, or you can play games, or you can do any of the board games that are on the shelf up here. So me and some of my friends, we were just like, okay, cool. What do you guys want to do? And I'm just like, we don't have any work, so should we just play the card game? And we looked through card games, and there's this card game, Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza. It's a really fun game. So if anyone needs like a gift idea for anything, because the past 2 months I've had like a birthday literally every single weekend, or it got canceled and got shifted to another weekend, so that's fun. But something I've had to buy a gift for, so yeah, really great gift for like anyone really, kids and adults. So I would suggest that. And this is purely my own opinion. Like I'm not even big enough to have any sponsors or whatever. So just like know that literally everything on this podcast is my own opinion. Like every product I mentioned that is good and I suggest you should buy, it's my own opinion. So yeah, that was really good. And so basically, when you have to place down a card, and you have to go and say their words in the sequence: taco, cat, goat, cheese, pizza. And whenever the card, for example, if the card is a goat and the person says goat, then everyone has to try and smack their hand down on top of the card as fast as they can. So my hand got stuck at the bottom, and everyone's hand crushed mine. And then I bent my finger got bent really weird, and I was just like, and then I was just like crap, and then I yanked my hand out from under the pile, and then I'm like holding my hand and wincing in pain, and then I'm also laughing and crying, and then all my friends are laughing, and we're all laughing, and then after a while I start freaking crying because A, my hand hurts, B, I'm laughing way too hard, and C, my eyes are just burning randomly again. I'm severely dehydrated to the point where my eyes are burning like that. So yeah, that's fun. What was I saying? Yeah. So and then I start like crying literally, and then they're just like, "Are you actually okay? It's been like forever." And I'm like, "No, it hurts." They're just like, "Okay, maybe we should tone back the aggressiveness scale a little bit." And I'm like, "Yeah, I think we should." So yeah, that was really fun. And then yeah, like I'm just holding my hand and wincing in pain, right? And my friend, she tries to turn around, but we're all like squashed together because my friend, it was started with the 4 of us and then it got to 7 of us. So my friend, she's just like, well, we should all be able to reach over the table so everyone scoot their chairs closer together. I'm like, oh, okay. So my friend, she's just squashed next to me, and then when that happens, and I just like yelp, she's just like, she turns around and then she elbows me by accident, and I almost fall off the chair because I'm so startled. And she's just like, "Are you actually okay? I hurt you twice now." And I'm like, "No." So that was fun, and yeah, so we're just all like squashed together, but it was so much fun, honestly, and like even though my hand hurt, both my hands were like completely dysfunctional for the whole day. It was worth it. So yeah, two of my other friends fall off the chairs later, but yeah. So another update. I have a lot of them. Next Monday, so April 1st, my soccer season starts, and I got on the same team as my last season, which means I'm gonna die because everyone on that team is just like mean, and then there's like these 2 nice girls that I'm sort of friends with. I'm assuming everyone's on the same team again because like you got to choose them, and I'm pretty sure everyone's gonna choose to be on the same team. So there's these 2 girls who were like the only nice people on that team, and like I wouldn't call them my friends, more like acquaintances, people I talk to because of like common factors, I guess. I don't freaking know. So yeah, and I just talk, and the 2 of them are like pretty close friends. So I'm just like, I don't even talk to them that much. So I'm just like all alone, and it just sucks, honestly. So yeah, that's fun. And I got on the same team again, and I'm pretty sure literally everyone on the team hates me. So that's gonna be fun. Yeah. It's gonna be fun. I'm so excited. Pure sarcasm, obviously. And then since it's on April 1st, my coach, he's actually really nice. He's the dad of one of the girls, and the girl is really mean, but our coach is nice. So, oh my god, I keep dropping this stupid pencil. So he's probably just gonna be like, April Fool's Day joke, go home, and then or he's gonna spray us with a bunch of water balloons again because that happened once. So that's fun. And then he's just gonna be like, never mind, practice starts, and then we start doing some random drill. I don't freaking know. That's really stupid. But yeah, like honestly, I wouldn't mind the water balloons. It's supposed to be 70 that day, and it's gonna feel like it's burning hot because I'm not even joking. It was 32 this morning. It was like, hold on, like yesterday when I had to go to my bus stop, it was like what 28 freaking degrees. I'm like, oh, this is in Fahrenheit, by the way. It's like I'm just like, it's so freaking cold because like I know a lot of countries in this world use Celsius. It was 28 degrees Fahrenheit outside, which is like -1 or so degrees Celsius, I think. I don't know. But yeah. So that's gonna be really fun. Before moving on, because I've literally just been yammering for 25 minutes straight. Let's do one thing we're grateful for and one thing we're happy about, plus our book of the week. So one thing I'm grateful for is my mom for being there yesterday because she was contemplating not going because she was really tired in general. And then I'm like, well, you have to come. And also my brother's not gonna come if you don't come. And he's like, she's like, yeah, sure, I'll come. And I'm like, thank you so much for coming to the party because like otherwise I would have freaking died because my dad doesn't know anything about it. All he knows is that he booked it and he had to call the place and change the head count. That's it. Me and my mom planned everything else, mostly me. So yeah, that was fun. And one thing I'm happy about is probably that it's spring break now because I'm gonna have fun for the first 2 days. I know that, and then I'm gonna go cry out of boredom. I'm gonna go cry because of boredom. So that's gonna be fun. But shucks, I'm just gonna enjoy the first 2 days and then worry about the crying and boredom part later. And our book of the week. So I'm actually not currently reading a book right now. However, last night I finished a book, Imagine Me by Tahereh Mafi. I think I'm saying her name right. I genuinely don't know. I'm pretty sure it's wrong, but yeah. So Imagine Me was the 6th actual novel in the series. There's 6 novels and 5 novellas in the series. So yeah, that's the 6th novel. Yeah, and the last book is another novella, and I'm waiting for it because it's like ebook form, and I have to wait like 5 weeks or something to get it. So that's fun. I'm just like, why can't you give copies to everyone? Like, it's a freaking ebook. It's not that hard to reproduce or whatever. And I'm like, why? And I don't freaking know, but yeah, I'm waiting on that. So it's like the final book, so it's just like agonizing to not know what happens. But that's fun. Imagine Me is part of the Shatter Me series, which is so freaking good, but you have to read like all the books in order. You don't have to read the novellas though. Just like if you want more of the book, which is like a really good book series, so I read all the novellas too. But yeah. Yeah, you should go read it. It's like a bunch of things combined because some of the books are all categorized as different genres. In my opinion, this series should be categorized as like romance, mainly romance. So yeah, but like some of the books are categorized as romance. Some of them are science fiction, which doesn't really make sense, and then some of them is fantasy, which honestly makes sense because those 2 books that are classified as fantasy, they do make sense for that. But they're all mostly like romance books. But it's so freaking good. Like I am telling you, the series is so good. So you should go read it. Shatter Me series by Tahereh Mafi. It's amazing. Yeah. Okay, my voice is getting like scratchy, so I'm gonna try and hide that, but ignore that if my voice just completely dies. Yeah, I guess that's it. So, continuing where we left off last episode, we finished up talking about motivation. Now, moving on to a different topic, how to defeat the number one enemy of time management and productivity. And that enemy is procrastination. But where to begin, you might ask? So, any problem solution can be found by diving deeper into the problem and finding the root cause of the problem, then eliminating it. Hence, eliminating the whole problem to begin with. The root cause of procrastination for most people happens to be distractions. And I'll give you all my tips and advice on how to ban distractions. Okay, so what are the most common distractions, you may ask? Ignore that, that was my window. What are the most common distractions? So, in olden times, someone might have told you that their distractions were the cows outside, or the chickens, or the neighbor's butter churner breaking down. I don't know. Or the something great, or the whatever about breaking down, or the ceiling fell off. I don't know. Yeah, fun times. But now our most common distractions are like things like screens and sugar, the lighting in a room, honestly, just like objects being there to distract us, like books, for example, or a phone, alarms, random tasks that arise that seem to be more urgent, such as you cut yourself on something and now you have to tend to that, and now you don't want to do your task anymore because you just cut yourself. So something like that. Those are our most common distractions. And sleep deprivation is a big one too. Like we just can't focus if you just can't focus if you're sleep deprived, honestly. So things like that. In our modern society, screens have become a huge part of everyone's lives, even for a 5-year-old. Screens are literally freaking everywhere, and studies show that an average teen spends about 7 hours a day on screens, and that doesn't count school-related things. And another stat that I learned, 3.5 of those hours are typically spent on social media. So that's kind of concerning, in my opinion. So yeah. Oh yeah, 3.5 hours of that for teens, 13 to 17. For olders, I don't know, probably less. Actually, no, maybe more. Younger, I think it's less. So yeah, but averaging those age ranges about 7 hours a day, not including school tasks, which kind of concerns me. But yeah, so how do we ban these screen-related these technology-related distractions? Number one, don't have technology in your bedroom. Many people's workspace is their bedroom. So I'm not saying that you should like ban every piece of technology in your room because some of it's necessary, but if you have a TV in your room, for example, then that might not be necessary because if you're trying to get work done and you can actually see the TV and the remote, then you'll be way too tempted to pick up the remote and watch TV as opposed to doing the task. And it's also just so much easier to just like pick up the remote and watch TV as opposed to actually doing your task and working up the motivation to do the task and then trying to stick with that motivation to do the task and all of that yada yada yada. It's just so much easier to go watch TV, honestly. So yeah, and also the tasks are probably just more boring than watching TV. So yeah, the blue light that screens emit can tire your brain, which is the reason we feel tired after being on screens for a long time. You might also watch TV before going to bed. Doing this can suppress melatonin production, and melatonin is crucial to help you fall asleep. Blue light makes your brain think that it's awake time, and this throws off your circadian rhythm, and can also give you very poor quality sleep, and sorry, a very low amount of low quality sleep, and decreasing focus and productivity and all of that. And poor sleep can lead to a whole plethora of other negative health impacts you don't want to deal with. So bye-bye to the TV and other unnecessary electronics that don't belong in spaces like a bedroom. Number 2, don't use your phone or your alarm as your alarm. Using your phone as an alarm is bad because it can be far too easy and tempting to hit stop or snooze and stay in bed and scroll through social media. And before you know it, it's 7:45 and you're about to miss the bus or your ride to work. I don't really know, miss whatever. Yeah, no thanks. So I use my Google Home to set music alarms, but they recently removed this, so I'm so sad. But yeah, but still, I set alarms, and I make a strict rule for myself that I can't get out of bed, that I can't off the alarm until I actually open my eyeballs and get out of the damn bed and get up to walk to the bathroom. So yeah, and I've actually made this a habit, so it works for me. This is actually something that you can also try. I mean, if it works. So get a standard alarm clock because it will help you actually wake up with no risk of scrolling through social media and wasting a bunch of time. Number 3, if you must, try purchasing a blue light screen protector for your phone and laptop. My mom has astigmatism and has glasses, so she has a blue light screen protector. It like filters the blue light, so it makes it puts less strain on her eyes on her laptop because she has to use the laptop and screens a lot. So yeah, and it really works because like whenever I use her laptop, and even if it is for a while, I don't get that tired feeling that I get from using any other device. I also have astigmatism. I'm pretty sure it's genetic because mine's also really high. And I know that screens can aggravate it. So get a blue light filtering screen protector. Number 4, get one of those like phone lockbox thingies. I don't know what exactly they're called, but some people talk about them on like social media and stuff, like time management tricks. I don't know. I don't really know. So yeah, but like it's basically a lockbox for your phone. You put your phone inside, and then you have to like set a timer for how long you want your phone to be locked up. And yeah, then you're forced to work on the task that needs to be completed. Once the time is up, the box will unlock, and you can take your phone out. And obviously, you shall need, hopefully not arise. There's a button you can press if you need a call for help or something like that. I've never used one, but they seem like a useful tool for people who seem to get distracted a lot by their phone. Number 5, take advantage of screen time limits and website blockers. I know that on iPhone, if you go into settings, then screen time, there should be this thing called app limits. I used to use them when I had a phone, and I set it up on my mom's phone for my brother's games. And yeah, because he plays the games way too much. And he's like, my mom sets a timer for like 20 minutes, right? And then he's just like, he keeps asking for like a few more minutes, and then my mom eventually forgets. And then it's been like 45 minutes, and she's like, she yells at my brother, she's like, off the phone. And he's like, oh my gosh, okay. So app limits really work because my brother doesn't know how to like hit ignore on it or whatever. So yeah, remains hidden little secret. But yeah, I mean, I love it. It really works. So there are also some websites out there that allow you to block different sites. I mostly use my school computer for a lot of things, and on that, all social media minus YouTube are blocked. So that really helps. Like all kinds of social networks are blocked. Google Chat is blocked. Lots of different things that can cause distraction are blocked. So yeah. But for other devices, you can find some extension that blocks your chosen website, so you can do your work and not get distracted by these other sites. Number 6, put your phone outside your room when you don't need it. I was reading this book a few years ago, and there were like 13 or something, and her parents and everyone else would put their phones in charging in a drawer downstairs. I think this is actually a pretty good idea. So this prevents you from using your phone right before bed, ensuring that you'll actually fall asleep because there's no blue light to suppress your melatonin production. Unless you have any other electronics in your room, obviously. So yeah, this also prevents you from waking up and scrolling through social media forever, and you won't be late. So those were my tips and advice on like how to ban screen-related distractions. Screens are a major distraction these days. I hope those help. Now let's talk about procrastination in general and how to banish it. Firstly, what exactly is procrastination? Procrastination is when we don't feel like doing our tasks and keep putting the tasks off until we absolutely have to do them, like we have no other choice. I think that procrastination is mostly caused by a lack of motivation to do a task, but let's go over some other reasons as well. Number 1, boredom. Surprisingly, boredom is another yet major cause of procrastination. The task might just be blatantly boring, and that can lead us to not wanting to do it because there seems to be better, more time-wasting things to do. But in reality, pushing this boring task to a later time or date is like you saving that boredom for later. Wouldn't you rather just get it over with? Boredom and procrastination are also intertwined because a ton of boredom can lead to a lack of motivation and you just feel depressed. And that leads to you putting off these tasks. In order to overcome this, you have to really work yourself into doing the task. One thing you could do is visualize the idea of the task being done. It'll be like a huge weight lifted off your shoulders. Envisioning is another form of feeling. You'll finally have the boring crap that must be done out of the way, and you can have time to do actual fun things without worrying about having to finish the task later. I think this is enough to motivate you to do the task. But on a last resort option, you really are in a slump and need a break. Take the day off and treat yourself. Do some clearly much needed self-care. This should help you kind of feel more motivated and less burnt out and less and disgusting. Number 2, you just have a really slow perception of time. In any scenario and any problem, everyone has a different perspective. Same with the concept of time. Everyone's perspective is different, and for some people, it's just really darn slow. If you perceive time as passing really slowly, then a task might seem to take forever and a half simply because you are so focused on how much time it takes. This leads to already boring tasks becoming more unenjoyable. A strategy to deal with this is to divide the time. Estimate how much time it would take to do something, like let's say an hour. Now, think this is gonna be like an eon. This is gonna seem like an eon if your perception of time is really, really slow. Divide that hour into smaller chunks, like 15 minutes. Instead of an hour, we are now left with 4 15-minute chunks. Now, the process is to get yourself through only 15 minutes of doing that task. Then, you do it again 3 more times. But don't remember, okay, so basically you go ahead into the task and you only have to do it for 15 minutes. Then another 15, another 15, another 15. Don't think about the 15-minute intervals in front of you while doing the task, okay? That's the point. So then, it wasn't so hard. It's not that hard to do 15 minutes as opposed to one whole hour, right? That just makes it so much easier to like overcome. Number 3, bad moods. Now thinking about it, bad moods are the source of a lot of problems in life. They're also the root cause of any cause of procrastination, because bad moods are what lead to boredom, and boredom leads to a lack of motivation, and all of that spirals into the tornado of procrastination. Procrastination is an emotion management problem, not a time management problem, but it can eventually spiral into a time problem connecting with time management and productivity. In a 2013 study, Dr. Physically, I think I'm saying, I don't even know. Cycly, I don't know. And Dr. Cyrosis found that procrastination can be understood as the primacy of short-term mood repair over the long-term pursuit of intended actions. That's the direct quote I have. I can't read these stupid words. But in other words, procrastination is about being more of sad or the in something the immediate urgency of managing negative moods than getting on with the task. Dr. Cyrosis says the nature of our aversion all depends on the specific task or situation. It may be due to the fact that the task is just boring to begin with. Oh my god, I'm repeating myself. I'm so sorry. I literally can't see right now. So, yeah, because it's like 7:37 and it's really dark outside. So, yeah. I don't on my light though, so we're good. But this aversion to these tasks can also just stem from deeper feelings related to the task, like self-doubt, low self-esteem, or insecurity, or the worry of failure, which is a common problem for a lot of people. And of course, all of this only adds to these negative feelings we get from the original task. The instant relief we get from procrastinating. This is our reward for procrastinating. Our brain will remember this, and this leads to a cycle of procrastination. And all of this can lead to stress and sadness and even more negativity and stuff shit we really don't need. Number 4, feeling overwhelmed. Having a really long to-do list can lead to procrastination because we get overwhelmed by the thought of having to do all these things in a day. We can't handle it. Basically, what happens is that we are scared of our to-do list. Kind of sounds stupid when I say it, but it's true. You just don't know where to start. Break it down and try to delegate tasks to others whenever possible. That'll help you overcome that. Number 5, banish anything that might become a roadblock into doing the task. I watched this YouTube video a while ago, and it was about procrastinating. The main point was the power of 20 seconds or something like that. There was a person, and their goal was to work out in the morning. There were 2 people. One who went to bed in their gym clothes, had their gym bag packed and everything ready to go, and the other person had nothing prepared. The first person actually did go to the gym because it was too easy. They already had their clothes on, everything was packed. All they had to do was grab their bag, keys, and get in the car and go. That's it. But the other person had way too much to do. They had to get ready, they had to pack their bag, they had to do all of this stuff. And it seemed like way too much of a burden and just be like, I'll work out tomorrow, it's fine. Which never happened, obviously, but yeah. The second person just slept and forgot. Make it harder to procrastinate, and likely you won't. Those are my tips and advice on how to beat procrastination and boost productivity. I hope they help. Now, let's move on to talking about how to not waste time. Number 1. On any device you have, disable unimportant notifications. I don't really think knowing whether someone liked your post on social media qualifies as urgent. It's a mere distraction. You should just put your phone in another room. But for some random tasks, you might need your phone. Disable any notifications that you know are only going to distract you, and the ones that aren't important. For messages and calls, only enable the ones that you absolutely need. If you want to get fancy, try using the Eisenhower principle for this. See? Your distractions have now been cut down to almost nothing. Number 2, just delete the social media apps. If you tend to get distracted by your devices a lot and end up with the mere intention of just checking your one post and end up scrolling through social media only to realize 2 whole hours have passed that you could have been doing your task. Exactly. Deleting social media won't delete your account. It only deletes that app and the access you have. Well, not the access you have, just the app. This is something I learned from the book How to Break Up Your Phone by Katherine Price. It's a really good and funny book to read if you feel like you're constantly wasting precious time on your phone, Also, a bunch of really interesting studies in there. She talks about how in her 30-day plan to get your life back and rebuild your relationship with your phone. And in one of those days, the task is to delete social media. She explains that deleting social media might feel impossible, like you can't live without it. But there are many useful benefits. After a while, you'll feel better and find yourself wasting less time because even if you wanted to go on social media, it's way more work to open a browser, type the thing in, maybe it doesn't type correctly, retype it, wait for it to load, wait for that to load, and then finally get in and it's crap. So it's just, you're probably just not going to go on it and blah, blah, blah. Too much work. So just delete the apps and you might not even go back to that. Like try deleting the apps for just like a few days even. A day isn't enough to realize that. Like maybe 3 days and watch it work. Number 3, delegate, delegate, delegate. If you find yourself delegating a task, it's probably because the completion of the task won't benefit you in any way, shape, or form. These kinds of tasks are tasks that don't benefit you, but are tasks that need to be done for someone else. Typically, if you take the extra step and delegate these tasks to others, then you will only be left with the tasks that do actually help you and are necessary to you. Next time, to avoid these kinds of tasks piling up and needing to be delegated, just politely say no. Number 4, take breaks when needed. Humans weren't meant to run like a constant machine, doing things all the time without feeling tired. You can't force yourself to constantly do stuff. You might feel tired or burn out sometimes, but that's only normal. Accept that and take breaks if you need to. If you don't listen to yourself, then that can lead to burnout, and burnout can lead to a whole new set of problems that we would all rather not deal with. In the book I Am That Girl by Alexis Jones, she shares her story about not listening to herself and how that landed her in the hospital twice. She was in college, and a good one, but it was expensive. And she was living out of her friend's garage and wasn't eating much at all, let alone anything healthy. And in that college, she tried to finish 4 years in 2 in order to save money and make it less of a burden on her parents. Her daily schedule went something like this. At some After classes, come back at 6 p.m., work or sleep, go to her job at 10 p.m., come back at 2 a.m., work on homework until 4 a.m., and wake up at 6. And repeat. On the weekends, all she would do is catch up on sleep. That's like, she said that she would sleep for sometimes 28 to 24 hours straight. Like, that's not healthy. After maybe around a year of living like this, she got so severely sick she landed herself in the hospital. Her doctor told her to stop, and so did her parents, saying that all of this wasn't worth her health and possibly her life. She and her parents and her doctor thought she was going to die, but she recovered in a month or so. Did she listen and stop? No, she kept going like this, even more determined because she missed a month of that work. After another 8 months, she landed in the hospital again. She was so sick and weak and had severe malnutrition issues, and the doctor even told her family to say their goodbyes. She survived. Don't overwork yourself because no task or assignment is worth any more than your health or your life. No task is worth more than you in general. So those were my tips and advice on how to not waste time and the importance of taking breaks. I hope they help you. Now, to end our podcast episode today, I have a quote for you guys from Charlie Richards. The quote goes, "Don't be fooled by the calendar. There are only as many days in a year as you make use of. One man gets only a week's value out of a year, while another man gets a year's value out of a week." Bye, guys. Rate, review, follow, and share this podcast. Go check out my Instagram or send me an email. Drink some water, and I love you all.